All right, cool. I think we're live. So I'm going to finish. I'm underwriting one, and then I'll take a look at yours. But as far as making offers on the MLS goes, and I'll show you. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll make one here in a second to kind of show you how I do that. Um, I just run the numbers. I don't. Again, we make a lot of offers, like especially for MLS ones. Um, Honestly, the way a lot of the reason why cash buyers are getting stuff is how do you beat people? You beat them. Obviously, you're not going to provide the right price. So without your, there's a couple different ways. Because first of all, there's the double dip technique. I guess Jerry Norton coined that phrase. But basically, you call agents unrepresented, right? So the idea is that
Yeah.
you either give them the buyer's agent's commission, so they can get twice as much. So some agents won't do that. They believe it's a conflict of interest. They're representing their client, so they don't feel that it's maybe ethical or moral, even though it's legal. So some of them don't want to do it. So what they do is what you should do is you should say, well, can somebody in your brokerage represent me? Because that way somebody in their brokerage will be able to split that fee with them. So it still gives you the edge because they do, whether they say that it's a conflict of interest, most of them want to get more commission. It's just natural. So um, so second way, obviously, to make your offer more appealing is to shorten your inspection time. Now, if you're not actually so we mostly make our offers on market in Salt Lake City, which is where I live in Atlanta, but Nathan's business and they're out of Salt Lake City. So we actually have a broker that we've partnered with, and he makes our offers for us. I mean, we write them up and do everything for him. He just emails it out. So
Yeah.
we go represented, but he is willing to throw away his percentage because he wants to partner on the deal, potentially buy it, whatnot. So it's a little different, but either way, it's the same principle. But the way that we win deals is that we're really aggressive with the earnest money. Sometimes we'll go 20,000, stuff like that. And that's not an option for everybody. So I understand that. But usually a really aggressive earnest money and then an aggressive due diligence period of, shorter the better. So if you have somebody lined up that can go and do it, I would say, it's tough though, because you're trying to do something different with it. We're trying to buy it and flip it so we can go and inspect these in 48 hours. And then also we do, 7 close. I mean, we can close in 5 days. So, I mean, that's unfortunately what you're competing against. So, you know, that's maybe why, you're getting beat a lot, and we get beat too. So, I mean, we get beat all the time. I mean, that's just the way it is. But that's why you have to make an offer that makes sense so that somebody would easily go, oh, well, shoot. Yeah. Let's do it. So let me just, I'm running these comps for this person right here really quick, and then we can look at yours. So this one I don't have photos yet. What I'm trying to do, so what we do, this is an off-market one, but we give a preliminary, I try to get a preliminary offer range to them, and they call back. So they get the information, timeline, reason for selling, a little bit of condition, property, as much information as they can. They bring it to me, and then they go back and say, okay, all right, well, let me go to underwriting, and then I give them a range. So let's say that this house could sell for 700. And then I run my numbers off the information I have. I mean, right now it's hypothetical. I don't have any photos, so I can't give a real number, or let's just say it's worth 500. They want 400. It doesn't matter what they want. I'm going to underwrite it the same way. So maybe they want 550. Who cares? I look at the photos. The house needs, $35,000 worth of work. If we buy it, I mean, we run numbers as if everybody uses hard money, 12%, 2 points, 15% down. I mean, there are other people that get cheaper money, 8%, no point, 1/3. That's fine. But that's, again, you should, you want to have, you want to know who's buying it. So you want to run their numbers based on what you think, what their numbers are. But we run it like this. Most agents right now, 2.5. I mean, you could probably get this is buyer's agent's commission on both sides. So basically for this one, we'd be looking to wholesale it. So let's say it needs $35,000 worth of work. And I go, okay, well, what's going to be a price that a flipper would want? So I try to look at the return on the money. So for me, it's like, okay, 350. If somebody was to, be using hard money, I mean, this is a great deal, right? And then say we got under contract at 350, and I would run the number on the assignment fee. I mean, obviously, if we had a deal like that, I'd be looking at what the net profit, right? That's important, right? What's the person going to make? But really, what does it cost them to do it? So let's say they're using these numbers, 15% down. They got to bring $56,000 first. That's a lot of scratch there. 35,000, right? So that's a total of basically 91,000. So the return for them would be pretty good, almost 50%. That's a good return for anybody. So I don't look at the number at net profit and go like, oh, 25, 35. Like I look at the return on the money. But anyway, so for this one, this hypothetical, right? And I'm going to underwrite it here in a second, but so I'm like, okay, that's honestly like 375. That would probably be the max offer that we could even like make for ourselves, maybe 360 at this price point with this kind of money. If this was true, right? If I had the photos, didn't need that much work. So I would basically go back to him and I would say, if I try to figure out what is my max offer that I believe I can make and then still squeeze a fee in, right? So if I think it's 360, so then I'm going to go to, when they have the preliminary call, they're going to go back and say, hey, underwriting, before they get photos, right? They make a quick touch. They go back in 5-10. They say, hey, can I call you back in 15-20 minutes? They call back in 5-10. They say, hey, it's not a final number yet, but I'm talking to underwriting, or I'm talking to my partners, my money partner, my deal partner, whatever you want to call it, and say, hey, I'd really, right now, yeah, unfortunately, they want to be around like 320, 325. Is that a number you would think? No, that's not going to work for me. Okay. And then from there, right, maybe they wanted 400 and they might hang up on you. But if you're like, hey, listen, is there anything else you can tell me about the property that you didn't share? Yeah, I redid the driveway, or I forgot to tell you this. Okay, cool. How about, also really, that's underwriting. My partners are really trying to protect the money. Obviously we started low. I want to work with you. You said you're at 4, we're at 325 right now. I mean, is there any wiggle room for you? I mean, I want to work with you. I want to get to where we need to be. So see if you can get them down a little bit. I can do 470, 375. Okay. Like, all right, cool. So they say, well, great. Let me send you a link, send the photos I asked you for. And then once I get those, I'll give you a call back. And then you go back. And basically you go back and forth with them, knowing that my highest number, he's at 375 now, right? I know I can be up to 360. So you just go back and forth, and you just keep going back to your money partner and say, well, and instead of just coming up, so you try to get something in return. Like, okay, well, if I come up to that number, like, are you going to give me my 10 days inspection? Yes, I'll give you 10 days inspection. Okay. I need 30 days to close. Okay. Are you going to, it's not even about, it's just about believing that they're stretching you as far as they can, as well as you're getting something in return. Say, hey, well, you mentioned that you got a lot of stuff to clean out. You're like, normally we'd clean out, but if I'm going to come up 370, you got to leave it completely clean, completely cleaned out for me. Okay. I'll clean it out for you. Whatever the case, right? So you don't want to just come up for nothing, because then they just feel like, oh, well, he can keep coming up. He can just keep coming up, So you got to get something in return, whether it's value, it doesn't have to be money. It has to be something else, right? Because all they care about is the number. So that's the back and forth. And really what it does more than anything is it demonstrates to you that this person is very serious. They're interested in selling their home. If they're willing to have that back and forth and don't hang up the phone, that's a good sign. So, that's the reason we go through that process before we go. And then, once you're stretched and you're at your number, if they stretch you all the way, then you just write the offer up and say, hey, listen, I totally understand. It's a shame we couldn't get it done. No problem. I understand. That sounds like it's going to be a no. I'm going to write the offer up and send it to you anyway. And that's it. I mean, and then you just follow up. Or if you wanted to, you could take the offer off the table and say, hey, listen, I understand. This offer is good till the end of the day, but if not, we'll just move on. And then you can still follow up anyway. So that's pretty much the strategy that we go with. It's pretty effective because it weeds out people that are not really motivated. Because like a lot of the problems that people that bring deals to us is the person's like not really that motivated. If you ask them, hey, what's going to happen if you don't get this price? Oh, I just keep living here. Okay, well then that person really doesn't need to sell. We're targeting a very small demographic of people that need to move quickly, have a reason to sell quickly for cash. So most people who are listing, they go the traditional route. They get a realtor, they put it on the MLS. And even so, a lot of people that are in a pinch and their house needs work, they don't know a better way. So they list it anyway, but they still need you to move fast. They still need the convenience, and they're willing to trade a little bit of equity for speed and convenience. So that's why it's really, you have to make a whole lot of offers to kind of get where, to get deals. Unfortunately, it's although you do hear about a lot of people, right? My first deal ever, I made an offer and I made $150,000. That's just not everybody, You know what? I'm going to underwrite this one later. So let me just look at what you got here. So 1612 Pregame Street. So this is listed, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's take a look at it. Zillow active. Okay, Charlotte. Do you live in Charlotte? Where did you tell me you were, Wilson?
New York.
New York, that's right.
Yeah, but I'm working there virtually.
Okay. Look at that. You found a good ugly one. Look at that. Perfect.
So this one has a little structural problem.
Yeah, like foundation?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know if the house is on a slab or if it's on footer or is it on a crawl space? Or let me see the year built. 1932. So it's probably like pier and beams. But okay. So it's probably not on a slab then. Has some structural issues. Let's see what's selling. Let me go back, zoom in a bit, right? So I obviously want to start as close as I can to the property. Man, they're knocking stuff down here, huh? Yeah. So let me put a filter on. It's 1932, so I really probably don't want to look at stuff. I'll start a little higher or a little farther out. Okay, so still got some stuff. Do you have an ARV on this one that you think it is?
Yes, I did a run on my comps, and what did I get?
389. So is that 389?
For something.
4?
Yeah, in the 4s.
Okay. So let's see this one. Obviously, this one's a much better looking house. The other one's kind of ugly. I mean, this stucco. I don't know why anybody would do stucco on such an older home. Let's go out a little farther, and let's bump this filter down a little bit. Let's say 1950. Okay. So this one's you got, obviously this is a very desirable area, right? So like,
yeah,
they're knocking stuff down and putting and fully gutting stuff and doing full rehab. So this one right here, we're right here right here. And so he's on Pregame Street. Is that, or Pegram? Is that a major road? Do you know? Looks like it's pretty major. Let me see.
No, I don't think so.
No. All right. Well, I don't want to spend too much time on that. It's not a big deal. But yeah, obviously, if that's a 4-lane road, then that there's something to think about. So all these comps, right? This is almost a 2-year-old comp, and it sold for $500. So this one sold in April. So there's not a lot of stuff that's sold here because inventory is low. This one, obviously they went probably crazy in here. Made it really nice. Sold for $660. So honestly, 400 I think is pretty low. Now they look. I mean, the landscaping in the back. Like this is not the same property that you're looking at, right? So it's not an exact comp. But this got 660 last year. So a year and a half. I'm sorry, a half a year ago. So I mean, this thing could, if you add a bathroom.
No, the one that sold for 660 is almost 2,000 square feet. This is 1272 only.
Yeah, no, I understand that. And square footage definitely matters. But when you're talking about this area and how desirable it is, if you do a really good flip right now, right, we're in a crazy time. I mean, people are coming off of appraisal and paying the appraisal gap. If it appraises for 5, they'll still pay the difference just because the rest of the people in the neighborhood, people are so desperate for the inventory. So, I mean, it's crazy that you would run numbers that way. But let's just say, so now I'm going to put my spreadsheet out. Let's say, so 400 is too low. I definitely don't think, I think you're pretty low. I'm saying 600.
No, I think my ARV was about 460 or something.
Well, that's going to be a problem. So you're running your numbers. That's a little conservative. I mean, I could go on PropStream and see, or Redfin and other places. I'm just using Zillow right now, but I mean, I would say just from this data right here, it's pretty clear that if you flip something super nice, they got Forbes 92 in 2020. Look at this one. I mean, and this one it's very nice and all, but that was 2 years ago almost. We're coming up on 2 years. This market is appreciated at least 10% is very minimal in Charlotte. It's probably appreciated 15% every year. So this house would be significantly more if they sold it right now. So you got to take that into consideration right now. I mean, the interest rates are creeping up. Maybe the prices might flatten out a bit, but the inventory is still low enough to where you got to be really, aggressive with your ARV to some extent. So they're at 389. That house needs, hold on one second. Let's see. All right, you can't tell if there's any rot or anything like that. I don't know if the roof is done, but the floors seem like they could be salvaged. But if there's a pier and beam issue, you might have to rip all the floors up. This looks like somebody got in the middle of a rehab and then just ran out of money. But I don't know. I mean, to make it look like some of these other ones, let's just go extreme on the rehab cost a little bit and say, because of the cost of material, let's just go crazy and say it's $100,000.
100 grand?
I mean, honestly, you could probably do it for 75. You don't know. I mean, let's just say 75, right? That would be a great number. If you were going to buy it and flip it and then resell it and you had an agent listed for 2.5 and then the buyer's agent gets 2.5 and you did it in let's do 6 months just to push it out a bit. It's saying you walk away with $74,000. So your all in would be 58 down payment, 75,000. So you're at, what is that? 130-ish. So that'd be a great return on your money. So to me, and I also believe this house could probably go for more. But we're going to run.
Really?
Yeah, maybe, just because, again, you can see there's $1 million homes around here. So you got to look right here. There's one sold for what? Well, I put the filter on, right? I mean, but either way, oops. Look, you got a 800 and you got a 800 and, obviously it's a completely different house, but this thing, when did this, that was a year ago. It sold for 825.
Yeah, but this is almost 3 times the size.
I agree, but I mean, maybe I'm being a little crazy with the ARV. I don't think it really depends on the level of rehab. right now. If you make it look like HGTV, someone's going to pay 600. It just depends, But if you're going to be more conservative with your number, then that means, you're probably not going to put as much money into it. And I mean, yeah, 550. I mean, so at 550, 389, it becomes a little tighter. Now, most people that flip, right, they probably are 1%. They probably might get their money a little cheaper. They probably just pay 1 point. So, I mean, it's important to know who your end user is. I'm assuming this house is going to go over listing. Someone's going to buy this for 425, and they're going to list it for 650. And they'll probably put in more than that. Probably put in $90,000. It depends on the level of the structure issues, but
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, I would, unfortunately, like if you're wholesaling it, you don't have a choice but to make an offer below listing. But that listing price actually makes sense. Like they listed it intentionally at that price, knowing that it's going to get bid up by cash buyers. You know what I'm saying? So,
do you know what the offer I made yesterday? So yesterday I made an offer to the agents. Taking into account it has a structural problem, I offered 305,000.
305. I mean, that'd be an absolute. And it's a good offer, honestly. I mean, I understand why you would make that offer. But if you're going to make an offer like that, you need to put down $50,000 earnest money and, or $25,000 earnest money, and you need to be able to close in like 7 days, with 1 day due diligence, right?
Yeah, I did give her a 10-day close, 10 days inspection for due diligence.
Yeah.
But still, she got a bit of, she accepted a high offer.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah. So on market is really difficult. I mean, but again, I mean, I wouldn't be afraid to make crazy terms like that, as far as like earnest money and stuff like that, because if you do make an offer and it gets accepted, I mean, if you have it that far below list price, I mean, maybe 305, I mean, that's obviously a deal, right? But
if you had to go in for this property, what was the offer going to be like?
If this was in like Utah and I had, and we had the same kind of boots on the ground, I probably would have gone honestly slightly above listing with it.
Above listing?
Above, just to be aggressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because if not, you're just not going to win it, because we don't do this intentionally, but I mean, we make an offer that makes sense and then we go and inspect it. And if it needs more work or whatever, we can always renegotiate. Usually they don't want that, but again, we're providing a quick close and stuff like that. So it's situational, just like it is with off market. If the seller can wait, then they're not gonna care that it can close in 5 days. If they're in no hurry and they don't need the money, they're just gonna wait for somebody to overpay, and somebody will overpay right now. So you're competing with that. So like I said, these cash buyers are putting down $50,000 earnest money, and they're closing in 3 days, with no inspections, but they're making crazy offers. They're making 275, right? And they're just like, well, shoot, if I get it at 275, I don't need to inspect it. I know, I know it's a deal. So I don't care what the earnest money is. I know it's a deal,
Yeah.
So and then also, you have other people. I mean, this isn't a multi-unit, but we make a lot of offers on multi-units. We run those numbers in our calculator, get what is the cash on cash, all that. And we make offers that make sense, somewhere between 8 and 12%, 6 and 12% cash on cash. But literally sometimes our offers are $250,000 below the listing price. Those properties, they end up selling because people are 1031 exchanging their money so they have to park their money somewhere. So they don't care. So they're overpaying. So that's happening all over the place with the 1031s. And so again, you're getting beat by somebody because we're running numbers off of it being financed, with a bank loan. You can't even compete with that. So it can be discouraging, but at the end of the day, you still have to go and make the offer. So, I mean, to me, 305 is a great offer. You made a great offer, but it's unfortunately probably won't be accepted, you know? But yeah, I would try to I would try to, if you're going to make offers, I would build relationships with agents in those areas and with cash buyers in those areas so that you can cut down your due diligence time and cut down on your close time so that you can be more aggressive with the number, and it actually might get a look like, okay, like, and then when you go to do the double dip, it's going to be more advantageous for you. So my recommendation for people making MLS offers is to be in a certain market, so that you can perform, you
know. Do you guys work virtually also?
We do. Yes. Most of our business is virtual, meaning I don't live in any of these places, or most of we do a lot of deals in Florida, Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina, Texas, Arizona. So we don't live there,
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah. So let me look at this other one really quick. So are you doing any cold calling or anything like that, or are you just strictly making on market?
Yeah, on markets. Yeah, no cold calling.
Okay. Well, we are doing this all in one program. It's like $100 a month. If you're interested in it, it's a 10 line dialer. We'll give you lists to cold call that are in markets that are good, like Charlotte, Tennessee, Nashville, Atlanta, Denver, places where if you get a deal, it's good. We made a video about it. You can look into it if you're interested.
Off markets.
Yeah, I mean, it's just we're providing it so that, because we try to underwrite deals a lot and stuff, and most people bring deals that are too high or whatnot. Yeah. So eventually, these calls are going to turn into those people that are in those programs that we've basically started this week, and it's going to be those guys bringing offers that they're working on from the cold calls, and then we'll underwrite it, and then so that you can feel really good about the offer, right? And if they don't accept it, it's fine. You don't want somebody to accept an offer that you can't move. So we see that a lot. It's too high, you can't move it. The seller gets upset. It makes everybody look bad. So the idea is to cut that out. So price cut, $49K. I'm assuming that whenever I see price cuts, it's usually because financing fell through or something like that. So something like this, I don't know when it went back. I'm assuming it went back. Let me see. So stuff like this, okay, I had a pending sale and it fell through. So this person may be in a time crunch, possibly. So someone like this, you would want to make an offer that can close in a few days, right? Because they listed it on March 11th. Or I'm sorry, they listed it on February. So they're getting tired of this. I mean, obviously not, though, because 323 was a while ago. So maybe they don't have a time crunch, actually. I thought they had just cut the price. But anyway, is this for sale by owner?
No, it's listed by an agent.
Okay, I got you. But yeah, so this one, I mean, let's see. So it looks like this person just has it listed crazy high, like outrageously high. So let's see. This one was in 422. I mean, that one's was this one brick? I can't tell. Looks like it's brick too. Okay. So this is like a really good comp. I didn't see the square footage in the other one. I think the other one was smaller, but this just sold for 420. So this person originally basically listed their house for what it should sell for after it's fixed up. Now, this to me looks like it was probably just it might be a flip. It looks like a homeowner that just took really nice care of their house, right? It's not like somebody flipped this or anything. Well, maybe. I don't know. It's really nice. So this just got 420. So that guy's out of his mind at 350. So let's just base it off 420. Sorry, 420. He's at 349. That's not going to fly. You know.
I made 2 or 3 days ago. I made him an offer of 295.
Okay.
But he said it was too low. That they had multiple offers that were way past that.
Yeah. Well, why isn't he closing then? I mean, maybe this one. It's hard to tell exactly. Okay, it's got 3 bedrooms too. So 3 bathrooms. I think the other one was a 4-2. Oh wow, look, it's got a basement. Okay, so this actually probably could go for more than 420. I don't think that other one had a basement. So let's say, I mean, I'm going to go a little crazy here, but that also means that you got another full basement to do. You could easily dump in $125,000 into this property. So, I mean, to me, this looks like, 275 would probably be like, I mean, you're not going to put in 41,000 plus 125, so that's 165,000. You're not going to do that to get $36,000 back. So, I mean, this person, even if you play with the numbers a bit, get a little bit cheaper money, this is still not really I guess maybe if you could do it for that house needs a lot of work, To me, 50,000 and you put in 160. I mean, that's 30% return. It's not bad, but this is kind of the offer range that I would think. I mean, this is probably where we'd be making an offer.
Yeah, 275.
Maybe a touch higher, but yeah, your offer at 295. I mean, I think it's legitimate. I mean, it's a good offer. It's a good, intelligent offer, but it's just tough, right? This person they probably don't need to sell it that bad. They're probably willing to wait or fix it or,
Yeah.
So now if somebody was buying it as a rental, I mean, I also am running these numbers as a flip, right? If somebody wanted to just turn that into a rental, shoot, maybe it just needs 50, right? So he's waiting for the guy that thinks, this is good. And then in that case, right, I mean, then he possibly is using cash. Then you're not even running, flip numbers. If a rental guy can come in there and probably do, who knows, dirt cheap, he's going to be able to make an offer that, I mean, to me, 350 just doesn't make sense, period. It just doesn't make sense to me. But somebody's going to pay it at some point. So another thing, so 295 is a great offer, but again, you got to be strong on the earnest money down, due diligence, and close date. Like, you just have to be. That's the only way to win these below list. So,
okay.
But yeah, let's see. I'm gonna look at one more here, and then I gotta go. Do you guys? Anybody have any other questions or anything? This is for Dalton. Can't talk. 30K rehab, rented for 800, asking 60. Okay. So, okay.
So walking in New North Carolina. So you think if I have to reduce the closing time from 30 days to 20 days,
I mean,
and the inspection from 10 to 5 days, does that make sense?
I would say, honestly, the close date needs to be aggressive. 10 days.
10 days.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, maybe 14. Yeah. 2 days inspection, and I mean, $10,000 absolute minimum for earnest money. So, I mean, that's my opinion, but man, one of these, is this a row house? So if this thing's rented, then I don't really care as much about what it's worth. So I'm going to just pull my calculator out. This is my long-term calculator. So they want 60,000. It's one unit. It's renting for $800. Now you would probably want to run the performa being what could I actually get for rent. So Dalton, how many beds and how many baths is this? Well, I guess it tells me. Let's see. 3.2. Okay. Rents, wow. Okay. I would think they would be a lot higher there, but maybe it's not a good neighborhood. All right, so he's about $200, possibly $300 under rented. So, well, first let's see what he's actually. So, 95% occupancy, operating expenses, $100 a month, maybe a little low. Closing costs are probably higher in Philadelphia. I don't know. Let's say 4,000. If you go to the bank right now for an investment property, we're creeping up on 6%. And if you want to put a property management fee in there, it's probably closer to 10% in Philly. And if it needs 30K, that's a lot. But let's see where we're at with that. Well, the cash on cash is not bad. 7%. Pretty sure that's a good deal if all the numbers were fairly accurate. But he probably wants to wholesale it. So, if he could get it for 50, just 30,000 just seems like a lot because most people who buy and hold properties don't like to put a lot of work into them. Carpet and paint being the max. So, but honestly, this on paper, if you had a good buy and hold buyer, this is really good. These are good numbers. You got 14% cash on cash, 18% cap. You got $515 cash flow. That's if he bumps it up to $1,000. So, and this is with a bank loan. I mean, if he actually has the cash, right, then even better. So this is a good deal, Dalton. Yeah, I mean, this is a good deal. I don't know if you have a buy and hold investor. I don't know about for a flip, but I didn't run the ARV on it. But as far as a rental numbers, this is a good one. So I would pursue it for sure. But yeah, anybody else got questions? I got to go. Anything else?
No questions.
Cool. So yeah, Wilson. Again, if you're interested, I'll get on our Facebook group. Yeah, if you want to look into that, like I said, it's $99. We'll hook you up with a dialer, prop stream, give you lists to call. And you're obviously welcome to join these calls. And there's a lot of other free bonuses in there, like show you how to do your own landing page, how to give you a bunch of stuff. So yeah, if you want to look into that, I mean, hey, no pressure. I'm not trying to sell you on anything. We're just trying to help people. At $100, we're not making any money on that. The idea is that we can get more people to actually bring deals that are good and you can sell. Yeah, Dalton. I think we're going to be including the prop stream for the 99 as well. So, I mean, guys, you honestly don't need prop stream seriously to run comps. I mean, prop stream is good, but you don't even barely need it. If you want to keep your prop stream, Okay, you got your call in an hour. That's good. Yeah, but I mean, between Redfin and Zillow, I mean, prop stream is good. Don't get me wrong, but you guys don't necessarily need them to run numbers, especially now that they don't even have accurate data. They lost their brokerage license and everything. I kind of question some of the information on it anyway. But
really, on prop stream?
I mean, I don't necessarily question it, but it's just as, I mean, Redfin and Zillow, I mean, they're pretty much just as good. Now, nothing's going to beat MLS Access in the state you're in. That's going to be absolutely the best information. So again, networking with agents to help you run. I mean, you know, they're not allowed to give you their login and stuff, but maybe you can find somebody that will, if you build a good enough relationship and they trust you. But yeah, that's definitely frowned upon. So I'm not encouraging anybody to do that, but yeah. Yeah. So yeah, guys, if you want to check into that, look at that. And yeah, man. And tomorrow at 3:00, we'll do another one of these. Well, actually, we do these every day at 10 a.m. Eastern time and 1:00 Eastern time. Scott Levine, the machine, does them earlier, and I do this one. So yeah, keep grinding, bring some deals, and yeah, let's make some money.
All right.
Chandler, I didn't see you there. What's going on?
Hey, not much, just listening.
Man, that beer is strong, man. I love it.
Oh, thanks.
How long did it take you? How long did it take you to get there?
Like a year.
Nice. That thing's balling. Love it. All right, fellas. We'll be good. See you guys.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Be good. Bye.
Bye.